Good morning, everybody. Which is a bad way to start anything. Morning, Squatch. Morning, Bernie. I see you out there. All right. I'm going to share a screen. Oh, no. Which screen are you going to share, Carrie? There we go. All right, guys. This has not been the best of weeks. I'm going to start off with an apology for some miscommunication. Mr. P, if you do see this later, we had a breakdown in communication. That's all. And guys, please listen to what I'm about to say. If somebody's way of introducing themselves to you is to be a fucking asshole, they are not operating in good faith. All right, you probably should just go ahead and get them out of your life immediately. If somebody's way of introducing themselves to you is to not be an asshole, and let's say 2 years later, you have a moment of butthurt, it's probably a good idea for you to just stop, check yourself, and say, this is somebody I've been talking to for 6 months, 2 years, whatever. Probably have a misunderstanding here and not a reason to get upset and pissed. I'm very glad that both of us, me and Mr. P, both had that self-reflection moment. Or maybe he didn't. Maybe he already knew. This is Carrie. I've been talking to him for 2 years. No, there's a misunderstanding here. Me, what? Wait, it's P. No. That's not what he meant. That can't be what he meant. And I'm very, very glad I had that ability. Some people do not, and that's their problem. Life lessons. Learn from my mistakes and learn from the few things I managed to do right. All three of them. Okay, moving on. I'm going to close that so I can see the chat. All right. There is supposedly... Oh, hold up, guys. We have a new moderator. Add mod. There we go. Where was I? There is what is being called new information coming out about, hey, Luke, about Uvalde. Well, I haven't seen anything to really change my mind, but I have seen some things that make me question some of my conclusions. All right. It apparently is an established fact, opinion, not transliteration, none of the above, that the incident commander claims he did not know he was the incident commander and deliberately got rid of his radio. Now, I have not had a chance, hey, Troll, to follow up on this information yet, but it appears that he may have, well, he doesn't have an excuse. It's the problem. He would have an explanation for why he got rid of his radio. Okay, I'm going to follow up on that eventually. Eventually means in about 6 or 8 months when we know what really is. It's also been said that they stood around for 77 minutes. No, they did not stand around for 77 minutes. Right? And I'm just going to go here. Mike the Cop and Eric Tansey. I don't know Mike's last name. He's just Mike the Cop to me. Did a live stream on exactly this. And they addressed some things that were just factually not correct. I hope I did my best Mike impression. Probably sucked. I'm okay with that. But Tansey, at one point, and you can see he's starting to get a little agitated. Actually says, they're not just standing around doing nothing. They're trying to figure out how to get in. I do hope you all go back and see that. Even if you watched it at 2 times speed, which does affect algorithm, I really hope you go back and see that live stream. They're not just standing around doing nothing. They may not have been doing anything effective. They may have, in the heat of the moment, let's be honest, in the heat of the moment, some really serious mistakes were made that could have changed the outcome. One of them being that the school resource officer, who did show up within about 2 minutes of the guy arriving, was distracted in the parking lot by an instructor. The CSO had a report, man with a gun in the parking lot. He found a man in the parking lot. That's what he reacted to. If he had not have if the CSO, SRO, had not reacted to the instructor in the parking lot, he might have been able to stop the gunman. There was a window of time. We're talking about a 30-second difference. And it's gone. That was a mistake. That happened. That is a human error based on the information he actually had at that moment. What are you going to do? The 77-minute thing, I have not followed up on this. 45 minutes was bad enough. Why am I going to follow up more? I have to be very blunt. I've already accepted the 45-minute story. Why do I need to make it that much worse? They didn't get in for 77 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever it was. It is what it is. And a lot of it is, Los Angeles. Okay. A few months before that rather, there was a shooting in Los Angeles. Los Angeles police officer shot and did not apparently kill a man who was running around Macy's, I think it was. 911, the report was man with a gun. In reality, it was a man with a bike lock just hitting random people for no apparent reason. All right. The cops finally kind of have him cornered. Cop takes 3 shots. The man goes down. I've seen that video. That part happened. It's the body. It's either the body cam or the gun cam. I'm not sure which. A 16-year-old girl, I believe it was killed by one of those 3 bullets. She was hiding in a dressing room behind what is basically styrofoam and paper. She was hiding in the dressing room because she was hoping that this guy would not know she's in there. Or whatever it was she was thinking that made it seem to her it was safer to stay there than to try to flee. Okay, I get that. The cop has the shot. He doesn't see that there's people behind his target, which was, by the way, the individual he was told had a gun and was shooting random people. So, okay, he took the shot. The bullet punched right through the paper and styrofoam, which is all that stuff really is at the end of the day. Struck and killed her. I can't remember where it hit. It's not important. Now, here's the cops in Uvalde thinking if we shoot through this door, even though we kind of know where he is, one of those bullets misses and hits the kid, we're going to be on the nightly news for the next year. Yeah. Okay. I'm going to catch up on the chat here. First of all, I see a new name, Cara B. And I've got to go to my backstage real quick. Okay. It's not what I was expecting. And who did I not greet coming in so far? Because I know there was somebody that I missed. Hi, Troll. You're not that late. You just missed the opening, and my apologies to somebody you've never met. Okay. I think I'm caught up as far as that part goes. So mostly just everybody saying hello. Squatch wants to know if anybody plays Red Dead on PlayStation. Bernie. The bottom line is certain people made statements. Let me highlight that. Whoops. Because I can already see this is going somewhere important. The bottom line is certain people made statements after the fact that was seriously misleading. And that is a dangerous understatement. Up to and including some people that absolutely know better. Seriously misleading. No, some of these were flat out lies. That's it. I am not going to defend the indefensible. But Redondo made statements that were outright lies. There you go. Said it for me. Thank you. And no, I don't know the exact names. I can live with that. Oh, okay. I know who Kara is now. Yeah, Kara. So you know a little bit of the ugly side of Carrie. You and Squatch should talk later. And I'm being told that there's a problem with my chat. What is wrong with my fucking chat? God damn it, Apple. Can't you do anything right? You sit here and you watch me waiting for me to fuck up, but you can't even let me see what people are saying. No, I don't want to know what people are saying. That would be inconvenient. The fuck? Who do you think I am, Matt Christensen? Okay. Who is on top chat that I did not see? Fuck you, Susan. I mean, we love... Oh. We love you, Susan. Okay. No, I'm not angry. I'm frustrated. I'm upset. I'm not angry. Never would I be angry, people. All right. Who did I miss? Who did I miss? Okay. I'm not seeing anything here, guys. So whoever you were, please drop it. I appreciate that, Kara. No, troll. We love you, Susan, is a thing here. I never say fuck you, Susan. I always say we love you, Susan. Calm down, Carrie. Okay. Where was I? clearly some of the statements made in Uvalde were fucking lies. Right? Some of it is just absolutely true. And some of it, unfortunately, is I'm standing here, I'm seeing the 6, you're standing there, you're seeing the 9. Which one of us is right? Well, one of us is right and one of us is wrong. Right? That's it. Maybe both of us need to back up and figure out where the fuck we really are. A 7-year-old can tell you which one is right in a heartbeat. There's something about basically under, I think it's 14 years old, your brain automatically fixes the problem, and then you turn 14 and all of a sudden your brain stops working that way. Also, a 12-year-old can tell the difference between a rising and setting sun. Even though that's really a philosophical question. Whatever. Well, thank you, Swiss. I appreciate that. I don't like it either. Guys, I'll let you in on a little bit of a secret. Every time I hear something I don't like, I know I need to follow up on that because there's something there. Why is this pissing me off so much? And that's the truth. I had a premiere scheduled for October where I had to address a couple things I really didn't like about what's going on in Ukraine. I actually did have to follow up on some of this. At the end of it, yes, I'm still right, but no, not as right as I thought I was. I actually had to sit there and explain to myself, wait, Carrie, I'll let you all in on the secret as far as that goes. Ukraine does have biolabs. Yeah, that's the truth. Why am I denying it? And I was really like, really, biolabs? And then I started looking at it. Yeah, they got the biolabs. Wait a second. Why wouldn't they? We just fucking came out of COVID and they don't have some place to research this stuff? What the hell is wrong with this picture? You're saying we are prepared. Okay. Swiss Miss wants to know if I heard about this next pandemic. Yeah, I can't not hear about it. All right. I can't not hear about that. I'm already over it. I have so much contempt for this next pandemic that I don't want to ever hear about it again in my life. I lost a lot of respect for COVID in March of 2020 when I heard about the first person coming out of the hospital. Whoa, hold up. This thing that was supposed to kill us all is not killing us all? Wait. Okay. I'm over this fear I have. Oh, gee. If that guy can survive it, I can survive it. Maybe I should think about that. And now go away. There's a broken watch is right twice a day. Thanks, Squatch. I appreciate it. Yeah. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it. Okay, moving right along. On this, okay, so I'm going to finish with this thing about Uvalde now. Clearly, some things have changed. Did they change enough to make that much of a difference? Well, with a couple of people, maybe. A couple of people. Well, there's a reason why I believe it's the Uvalde chief of police was denied leave. That he asked for leave, they said no. They placed him on administrative leave, which is very, very different. And my guess is he's in a lot more trouble than I know. All right. And what I know is he could, if he's on administrative leave, he's under investigation, he could end up in prison. That is a potential result. Oh, that's bad. Excuse me. Whatever it is that they think they found right now, they are really, really pissed at him. And he's kind of on his own. I can't help you if you fucked yourself, bud. Harumph yourself, Mr. Governor. Moving right along. Also on the subject of old news. I kind of touched on it a moment ago. Anybody that continues to try to tell me that I said that Ukraine has no bio labs, as of this day, which is 23 March, April, May, June 2022, 0830 Pacific Standard Time, you are lying. Do not say that ever again. Do not lie to me about me. Do not for a moment think I don't know what I said. Are we clear? Okay. I don't care if we're clear. I will hold you accountable anyway. For those of you that are unaware, which would be all of you, including Squatch, that's how bad this one is. Somewhere other than YouTube, where my real name is very much out, somebody tried to tell me that I said they didn't have that. No, that's not what I said. All right? Don't lie to me about me. The rest of you, please learn from that guy's mistake. Don't lie to somebody about what they said. That'll just blow up in your face. Okay, Swiss is saying that administrative leave is used during an investigation to enable them to call him in for questioning at their stead. This is something I kind of sort of knew but didn't fully understand. If he is on leave, they cannot. It is an administrative, not police investigation. Well, you can't have an administrative investigation of a police officer without the police being involved, by definition. That's kind of the nature of administrative investigation. When I was in the Guard, an administrative investigation equivalent would be my OOD looking at the radio log and saying, hey, Carrie, why did you enter that we were responding to this boat at 12:32 when I know I heard him call it in at 12:21 because I looked at the clock. Oh, my bad, MK2, I'll fix it. There it is. Supposedly the new system, when you're entering something into the log, it'll automatically put the time in for you. So you'd have to go back and manually fix it, but it'll put the time in for you. Ah, great. During the police. Swiss Miss is also pointing out that, yeah, you're under oath as a peace officer. You are always under oath. So you can be compelled to make a statement. Oh, Jesus. The Michael Dowd case. There was a certain sergeant who was applying for retirement. Can't even begin to remember his name. But anyway, Joe Poss has this sergeant in front of him. He knows all about the crack. He knows everything. He wants to interrogate this guy about the crack dealing, and there's nothing that sergeant can do. Nothing. He has to answer these questions. And Joe's pulled off. He's told, don't ask. And he had to literally watch a crack dealing cop walk out the door with his retirement intact. Fuck. No, it's always legal. Oh. Okay, so Squatch has a chillin' with Squatch coming up, guys. So if you can catch that, it'd be cool. Pew sticks. Participate as a civil servant. You are obligated to participate in an administrative hearing until you are implicating yourself in a crime. I was not aware of that. This is something that missed me. Pew sticks is guns. All right. Where was I? Yeah, administrative. This is just your boss asking you what the hell you've been doing. Right, wrong, or indifferent. So you can only be hi, Boa. You can only be fired under most administrative investigations, and usually with cops, even if they or firefighters or any other civil servant, if they find something during an administrative investigation that anybody else would be prosecuted for, very often they'll just fire you. They'll let you go. I've seen it happen in the military. Administrative investigation equivalents, in-house. The case that I'm thinking of, it was a captain's mast for something that, if she'd done this in the civilian world, or if the civilian police gotten involved, she would have gone to jail. And rather than jail her, they put her 15 days restriction, 15 days restriction, 15 days extra duty, and denied reenlistment. They just fired her. That's it. It can lead to criminal proceedings, and that's where I think the evolved chief of police may be headed. Okay. Also, please stop listening to weirdo conspiracy theories. I know I have my own. All right. Correction. Listen to the weirdo conspiracy theories. It might be true. There might actually be something to this weirdo conspiracy theory. But until you have hard evidence, it's nothing, right? Jack Ruby shot Lee Harvey Oswald. This is a hard and fast fact of the universe. He did it on camera. There's no question or doubt. Lee Harvey Oswald shot Jack Kennedy. This is a fact of the universe. All right. That doesn't mean Oswald actually entirely acted alone, but at the end of the day, he's the one that decided to pull the trigger. I believe that, and I have never seen anything to convince me that there was some great grand conspiracy theory other than my shit post of a conspiracy theory that says Jackie called the hits. I'll let you all in on a secret. I did that as a shit post because I wanted an F on that assignment and I ended up with an A. Or maybe it was B. I think it was a B actually. That's it. What the fuck? You gave me a B on something I was trying to get an F on, so I could at least say I turned in a piece of paper. Let's talk about weirdo conspiracy theories. L, because I forgot to pull it up before I started. No, okay. Let's back it up. Maybe it was a PNG. L. No. The fuck did I do with it? Shit! Okay. It's not here. I can't. I can't sit here and dig around for it all day. Great Reset is not a conspiracy theory. It's a thing. Everybody knows it. It's out in the open. There is this big, beautiful matrix. It's double circle matrix that shows how this theory works. Okay. The double circle matrix shows how the inner circle of goals connects to the outer circle of methods. And there's lines run like all over. I'm pretty sure it was actually meant to be a 3D model. Okay. That's real. That doesn't mean that a train wreck in Kansas has anything to do with it. All right. It's a train wreck in Kansas. That's it. Was it Kansas? I think it was Kansas. It doesn't even matter, really. A coal train wrecked, and it wrecked bad. It wrecked worse than Cantera. Cantera Loop train wreck in 1985 or 6, I think. Spilled something like 1 million gallons of herbicide. I think it was herbicide into a creek that eventually feeds into the Sacramento River and basically annihilated one whole species of salmon. It's gone. They're all dead. Okay. That happened. There's no denying it. I'm not going to waste your time. It was actually big news. And the big news about that was that the train came around the corner too fast. All right. That has nothing to do with Great Reset. Great Reset was a concept that didn't even have a name back then. All right. And it wasn't even a full concept yet. Now we have this train wreck in Kansas. And it's a really bad one. I've seen the photograph. I never seen a train wreck that bad before in my life. I've never even heard of one that bad before in my life. It's like they all accordioned in to the center with like 2 or 3 at the tail end, still straight but off the tracks. That's how bad it really was. And judging from how big the area covered was, we're talking a couple hundred cars of coal. That doesn't mean it has anything to do with anything. It's just a train wreck. It's just another train wreck. My fault, your fault. Nobody's fucking fault at all. It doesn't mean they're connected. There was a train wreck in Portland. This one's particularly infamous because it got an Antifa group permanently banned, supposedly, permanently banned from Patreon. It was exactly the same place that they said you could, I think it was pour concrete onto the tracks and cause a passenger train to derail. Well, this was not a passenger train, and the time of day wasn't exactly right. Oh, okay, great, good for you. And this accident was just an accident, was caused because the train operator came around that particular curve too fast, which was kind of partially what they were talking about beforehand. It got them permanently banned, supposedly permanently banned. Okay. Did Antifa have anything to do with this freight train that derailed in Portland? No. No, it had nothing at all to do with them. It's just the same spot, the same sort of circumstances. Just because it's out there doesn't mean it's connected. And yes, I do know about the gay frogs thing. Oh, Kara left? That sucks. Gotta back it up a little bit because that little rant had me going. Oh, okay. Bye, Kara. Bernie says, then the police union gets you moves somewhere else like it never happened. Yeah, not always. If it's bad enough, you're just going to be fired. And it's happened before. That sergeant in the Michael Dowd case, he walked because the union didn't have to back him up. There are others that were involved who were reassigned, even though, yeah, they were actually guilty. And then there's Michael Dowd, who came out of prison, I think, about 10 years ago. Squatch had a problem. There's no room left in my... no room. Sometimes they are connected. All right. I'm going to back this up a little bit. Sometimes X event is connected to Y conspiracy. That's the true fact of the universe. Just because they happen to be something allied, or this event would help that theory, does not mean they're connected. Swiss Miss points out the police chief is most likely not permitted in the union. They're not. As he is both a supervisor and deciding official. That's not the whole why, but yeah, that's related. Thank you, Kara, even though you're not here. No, Ozzy, you can't shoot yourself from 200 feet away. The worst conspiracy theories have a hint of truth. September 11th comes to mind. You know what? 9/11 was a conspiracy. Yeah, 14 men were supposed to get on those planes. 13 of them did. Plus there was another 20 or so back in Afghanistan that knew the plan. All right. That was the conspiracy. Flag of the play. Everybody's going to point out Bush knew it was going to happen. Yeah. He doesn't even deny it now. At the time, it was not properly addressed. Okay, fine. You covered your ass, Benny, I think was the words. Something to that effect. Clinton knew about it too. Yeah, and so did Bush Sr., by the way. Yeah, Bush Sr. knew something something was possible, because bin Laden actually told us what he was planning to do next in 1993. Oh no, excuse me, that Bush Sr. wouldn't have known. That was after he left office. What do you call the guy at 1600? Train wreck. Chicken farm burning down, and then a bunch of cattle found dead. I'm sure climate change. No, but that doesn't necessarily mean that the farms and factories burning down are related. It doesn't prove anything. It does, however, lead some people, like myself, to wonder, is there a connection? That climate change is getting out of hand. Not in need of union? Because I don't agree with anybody ever. You can when you have a sniper rifle. And I have been beaten once by Alpine Gulch, who's not here to defend herself. Okay. There we go. I think. Oh. That is a shame. Moving right along. Yes, sometimes they are related. But you know what? Until you have something that definitively proves this is related to that, to the point where you would be willing to stand in front of a judge and risk well, first of all, contempt of court, but more importantly, a perjury charge. Don't bring it. I don't want to hear it. I say that with the caveat. You means anybody. It's not perjury if you believe it's true and correct, and you've done what you needed to do to make sure you're not wasting my time. Ozzy's pointing out that the chief of police was a brother-in-law of the mayor. I did not know that until just now. I can't accept that just because Ozzy says it. I can sure as hell go back and look it up, find out if it's true. I'm not going to right now. Well, probably not even going to remember to. But I am going to point out that it's a possibility. All right, where was I? Where I was catching up again. Do not accept something is, first of all, vast. You all know I have my conspiracy theory. Iran is the Church of Satan and the inheritor of the Nazi Empire, which was the Church of Satan before them. They're behind the coronavirus and 90% of what else is going on out there. This is not conspiracy theory. This is a factual statement. Under that second category, Iran supplied ISIS. They trained these people. They gave them weapons, gave them equipment. And basically, ISIS was their mercenary army in Iraq. Now, what Iran's intentions with ISIS was is debatable. I have my theory that they were supposed to give the oil that they took to Iran, and ISIS instead sold it to Turkey. And that's why Iran cut them off, and that's when ISIS lost their war. That's my theory. I'm sticking to it until you can prove differently. It is a fact that Iran supplied ISIS. Right. Church of Satan, COVID, and all the other crazy shit that's going on out there. And that they bought and paid for the DNC, the Democratic National Convention, Democratic Party outright. They somehow bought the DNC to do their bidding. Don't take that just because I said it. Follow up on the things I've said, like the slave trading and the drug smuggling and the gun running, which is where they got the starter cash, and their connection to George Soros. Oh, yeah. And his connection to the DNC. And Weinstein, Harvey Weinstein, by the way. Finding his lawyers, he goes to online TV, and lawyers want to drop him. Okay, Ozzy, send me that after the stream. And yes, the Clintons are very much connected. It was, my theory is that Iran got entree into Democratic circles because of the slave trading, the sex slave trading specifically, through people like Maxwell. You notice I said Maxwell, not Epstein. Maxwell was the head motherfucker in charge there. Jeffrey Epstein was just her loyal, suicidally loyal lieutenant. Nothing more. He decided he was the queen to be sacrificed to save the king, with a little bit of a forced metaphor there. And, or maybe the rook, but anyway, he took it to protect her, and it didn't work out for him in the end, did it? But moving right on. Interesting. We love you, Susan. No, Ozzy, I can't explain that. Okay. That's my theory. But don't accept it just because I said it. Don't accept any conspiracy just because somebody said it's connected. By the way, people, conspiracy by definition involves two or more people engaged in a common purpose of a criminal act. You cannot have a conspiracy to not commit a crime or to stop a crime. That's a Babylon 5 reference there, by the way. Although in that conspiracy of light, well, actually they were conspiring towards treason. Treason and misappropriation. Fuck is it called? When an officer orders you to commit mutiny. Because as an officer, you cannot commit mutiny. Only as an enlisted man. But if an officer orders you to commit mutiny, then he's guilty of, I always forget this, I keep forgetting this word, ordering an enlisted man to commit mutiny. Okay, just go with it for now. That's illegal. And you, as the officer, you will be in trouble. As the enlisted man, you may not be depending on your situation. Thank you, Swiss. I appreciate it. And yeah, hear it out and then decide. And actually hear it out. Um, Two or more people engaged in a common purpose towards a criminal act. Me and Ozzy, and me and Squatch, email all the fucking time. I don't think there's a whole week that goes by when I don't bug the shit out of Squatch about something. It's every week. Squatch, correct me if I'm wrong. We're not engaged in a criminal act, or at least he's not. Woohoo! Right? We love you, Susan. Um, so it's not conspiracy. Two guys walk into a bank. Both of them are there to rob the bank. Why was there no conspiracy charges filed later? Both of them have been charged with bank robbery. Why is there no conspiracy charge later? I'll wait a few minutes and see if anybody drops the answer in the chat. All ruined by failure to plug the parking meter? Well, it's Monty Python, so. Swiss, I've emailed you. Yes, I've emailed you. Check your spam folder. It wouldn't surprise me if it was in there. All right. Just because something happens doesn't necessarily mean it's part of a conspiracy, people. The gay... Oh, okay. The gay frogs thing is not necessarily a conspiracy. All right? People are dropping chemicals in the river. We know that. Doesn't mean turning the frogs gay is the point. All right? And dropping the chemicals in the river may very well, generally speaking, is very much illegal. That does not necessarily mean that you're going to prison for this. Oh, by the way, the Supreme Court ruled that you cannot use conspiracy to turn a misdemeanor into a felony. Conspiracy is a felony in and of itself. It's one separate crime of its own. Back in the 70s and 80s, the states realized, hey, we have this felony and we have all these people committing misdemeanors over and over and over and over again. Together, we'll charge them with conspiracy to commit this crime, this misdemeanor, that turns it into a felony. And the Supreme Court said, no. You can't convert a misdemeanor to a felony by adding conspiracy. No, that's not how it works anymore. Crime with the police to entrap you. Ooh, Ozzy. I want to highlight this because I know exactly where he's going. Can you commit conspiracy when the so-called target of the crime is the one planning the crime with the police to entrap you? No, it's still entrapment. Thank you for reminding me. Last week I said something to the effect of that I had some real questions about Patriot Front and what really happened there. I still have some real questions. I'm also thinking that if it really is a federal operation, it absolutely started at the top because the leader of Patriot Front is clearly very much dedicated to his mission, to the point where I heard his name, right? I forgot what it was because I didn't really care that much. Um, but he is really dedicated to this mission of his. I do remember hearing about Patriot Front 2017 or 18, somewhere around there. And actually, because of the name, I got interested. Oh, Patriot Front. What is this? I never was able to find out enough to know if I wanted to follow up on it, so I didn't. And in retrospect, I'm very glad I didn't join them either. All right. My kike and nigger ass can't pass their muster. Okay, I think I know where Ozzy's going with this. It would be nice. And yeah, sometimes it's not quite that simple, and yet it kind of is. Did I miss anything? Oh, Ozzy was talking about Gretchen Whitmer. Okay, my bad. And Squatch points out a lot of the times what happens is the law of unintended consequences. Okay. I have a cup in my hand. I'm about to take a drink. Unintended consequence. Let's just pretend I dropped the cup on the stream. There's still coffee in it. I'm not going to drop it. Unintended consequence of picking the cup up and taking it a sip was I dropped the coffee. I didn't intend to drop my coffee. My God. I'm not a savage. This is a real thing about the universe. And going back to the Los Angeles shooting, very much an unintended, unforeseen, and only partially avoidable consequence of the cop taking the shot was that girl died. That happened. There's no question or doubt that girl died as a result of his bullet going through paper and styrofoam. That was nowhere near the cop's intention. He had no way of knowing there was somebody hiding in a dressing room, and probably not a whole lot of way of knowing that was even a dressing room unless unless he was familiar with the store, maybe. Oh shit, we're coming up on the dressing rooms. Could somebody be hiding in there? I have the shot. I have to take the shot while I have it. That's not on him. That was on the guy who started this problem. Everybody else had evacuated. Okay, great. I think this building's clear. I have the shot now, and I have to take it while I have it. And you always have a right to plead the fifth. Hey, DJ! Oh, the usual shit show. Mostly me ranting and saying that I'm glad I didn't join Patriot Front. Everything's not a conspiracy. Okay, so moving right along. Where was I? Where I was refinding where I was. Okay. There's something I kind of wanted to rant about, but it can wait for next week, I suppose. There are certain people I do not like. Oh, excuse me. There are certain people I do not like. I would stay the fuck away from anybody who's asking you for money and not listening to what you had to say. I'll leave it at that. Since the subject is kind of coming up, um, if a police officer can ask you 3 questions and you have to answer them honestly, or it is grounds for more action, not necessarily arrest, but it can lead to more questions being asked. What is your name? Just your name, right? What is your home address? What? Not where are you living? If I'm in, I live in, I live outside of Reno. If I'm in New York, I'm obviously staying somewhere there, right? A hotel, a friend's house, well, I don't have friends, an acquaintance's house, um, uh, the back of a Ford station wagon. Been there, done that. Um, Not where are you staying? Where do you live? Because you're eventually going to go back to that place. Sooner or later, you are going back to that place. And do you have any weapons on you? And if they have a reason to believe you have a weapon on you, yeah, they can search you. It's actually a little bit looser than that, but I'm not exactly sure how that law works. In the process of the first 2 questions, they can demand to see identification, which I'm going to get to during the Get Home Bag segment. Do not lie about those 2 things. You can refuse to answer any other question on earth. Do not lie about those 2 things. Do not lie about having a weapon. About the weapons. Intent of use is often enough of a defense. You all know that I carry a multi-tool around with me literally everywhere except the shower. My multi-tool has a knife on it. I cannot use that knife as a weapon with any kind of efficacy, right? But it is still a knife, which makes it a weapon. Okay, fine. By unfortunate circumstances, I learned to say, yeah, I got a multi-tool in my back pocket or my left pocket or wherever the fuck it is. Very often people will have pocket knives or multi-tools or something else that could be a weapon with no intention ever of using it that way and never even seeing it that way. Cop stops them. There's a folding knife in their back pocket. They say, why did you lie to me? Didn't think of that. Because I would never have used it that way. The courts will generally let you go. The cop might be really butthurt. He can be butthurt until hell freezes over. That doesn't change anything. All right? Other than he's going to hold you here a few extra minutes and see if you're lying to him about something else. Which, be perfectly blunt. You have a folding knife in your back pocket and you didn't say that when he asked you about your weapons, he thinks you're lying to him. And he's going to search and search and search until he finds something else. And if he can't find anything else, he's going to let you go, but he's going to remember your name. Generally, that's about it. No, Swiss Miss, you cannot just not answer unless you're actually mute, in which case, indicate you are actually mute. And no, police are not your friends. That's why they're selected. Those 3 questions, that's it. Those are only ones you have to. Ozzy, you'd be surprised how not true that is. You think I'm the first mandatory carry faggot. You would be wrong. For me, the first one was actually an instructor. He was a former police sergeant, which I've said things about sergeants that were not very nice in the past. This is back when I was a gun control supporter. I said, don't you as a cop want everybody disarmed? He said, no, if it were up to me, everybody would be required to carry a gun. Whoa! 19-year-old me heard that and said, what? But then everybody, you'd know everybody's carrying a gun. Yeah, I'd think it anyways. He's got a point there. Okay, so I'll come back to that in a second. For me, that was the first mandatory carry. Turns out there's at least 3 more before him. One of them is this guy, Niccolo Machiavelli. Actually says in chapter 20, whenever a prince has found the people unarmed, he has always armed them. Their arms become yours. He does go on to say some other things. Who should not be armed? And I think in the context of what he was saying, it was people who had served the old state, and particularly noblemen who had served the old state. Commoners who'd served the old state, forget them. Don't worry about it. They have knives, they have guns, they have nuclear bombs. Yeah, sure, whatever. Noblemen who'd served the old state, go ahead and disarm them. Everybody else, distribute arms as liberally as possible. Their arms become yours. He did say some other things which were less flattering. But it is what it is. And before him was Jesus fucking Christ himself. Yeah. Oh. Jesus Christ said, let he who is without a sword sell his cloak and buy a sword. Yeah, he said that. And he actually meant it that way. He also meant that if you are a non-violent person by nature, sell your sword and buy a cloak. And Ozzy points out that it says you have to say you're not answering questions. No, actually you don't. The court has affirmed you just answered the questions you were required to and went perfectly silent after that. Okay. Now the cop is going to stand there confused. I just asked you what time it is. That's it. And now your jaw is clamped shut and your arms are crossed. I'm thinking something's wrong with this picture. But it's not illegal. There was one gentleman, big black guy, shirtless in what appeared to me to be jeans, standing on a street corner. This was outside of Chicago. I can't remember where. Obviously, this guy's a drug dealer, right? My God, he might as well have had a neon sign behind him that says, I'm selling drugs. Two white cops. This was an issue. Walk up to him and say, "Who are you?" or "What are you doing here?" or something. I don't remember now. The black guy says, he raises an arm like that. Why? That's it. That's all he said. And they started beating him like a pinata. That obvious drug dealer was actually a police sergeant or lieutenant. I can't remember which. For the next town over, the chief of police had been hearing stories about his cops doing things that he did not like. Turned to the chief of police for the next city over and said, "Hey, can I borrow a couple of your cops? Your black cops specifically? I'm hearing some things I don't like." Oh, well, the camera that was hidden in the business behind the undercover cop, with the lights out and the street lit up very well, because you can see in the light if you're in the, you can see what's going on in the light when you're in the dark, caught the whole scene. Those two cops went to prison, and a whole bunch of others got fired. Yes, I've seen that happen, but that happened to me, Bernie. That's part of what my this close to a felony charge was about. Okay, Swiss, I don't know what was going on there. And I know what snitches get to. U.S. versus Miller, U.S. v. Miller, seminal gun control case before the Supreme Court, went the direction it went because Miller was state's evidence. Fascinating study there. You should all look into the history, which I'm not going to go into right now. Okay. Oh, I've got to get past that subject. Oops, wrong button. And move on to the next thing. Guys, I have to admit that I'm kind of rushing today. And I had to just not do today's Q&A stream because I'm going to be at the lake house. You all know Pappa Carry broke his hip a little over a year ago, I think it was. He was at the lake house. He started to climb the ladder up to the porch. He slipped and he landed on his knee with the broken hip. So I'm actually headed up there around noonish. I'm out of here. I'm going to help him build a new ladder, this time with non-skid, so that's not going to happen again. If he breaks his hip there, he is dead. That is it. There's nobody coming. There's nobody going to know he's there for a couple of months. So that's getting fixed. All right. Which file was it? Fuck. Sorry, guys. I know better than to do this too. Make sure I got it all good. There it is. I could swear I've gone over this, but... All right, I'm going to close the chat for a second and share a different screen. Thank you, Swiss. It will be okay once I get up there. Did I not open it? Double check and make sure it is actually open. Oh no, something went away. So it was open. There it is. Make sure it's coming through correctly. It is. Okay. All right, guys. It's not going to happen as a screen share this week. So I'm going to put the chat back up and just read it as is. All right. Damn. This is why you should really, really be prepared. Okay. Section 6, restrictions. The federal government may only restrict suppressors, silencers. Pause. Both words. I don't want to hear any more arguing about are they called suppressors or silencers. That's it. Both words are there now. Unpause. Assault weapons, machine guns, autocannons, rotary cannons, AOWs, and explosives, incendiary other than tracer, and armor penetrator munitions as follows. Pause. You should remember from definition, all of these are explained. AOWs is one that's not properly explained. I have to get around to it, and I need somebody who can make a case to go any further there. Okay. Unpause. Weapons included under these definitions may require a license to possess not to exceed a single page form establishing who the applicant and or designated representative is and where the weapons will be stored. B, a form for each transfer establishing who is receiving said weapons. C, a fee not to exceed actual cost to government for processing. Pause. Okay, so basically, B is just A as you move forward with the piece, the object, the item, the gun. All right. It's not actually a second section, but this is so that somebody can't say, well, I gave it to my buddy Jack. Yeah, but you don't have it. You need to explain why. Or Jack says, oh, it's not my gun. I got it from my buddy Carry. No, that's not how it works. And you'll notice very often a fee not to exceed cost to government for processing shows up a whole lot. All right. There's only one place where for doing things the right way, there's only one place you don't see that. And that would be elective exemptions. All right. Unpause. The state may impose or mandate no restrictions, fees, or other controls not specifically provided for within this act. The state may impose reasonable regulations on the licensure for concealed carry and must accept concealed carry permits from the sister states without exceptions. Said requirements may not include a mandate for liability nor mental health evaluation. The states are not obligated to issue concealed carry permits from residents of another state, nor are forbidden to do so. Concealed carry permit processing may not take longer than 7 working days. Any concealed carry permit application not completed in said time frame shall be conditionally approved. Any concealed carry application not completed within 30 working days of that shall be unconditionally approved. Time restrictions for unconditional approval may be suspended during a state of emergency upon declaration by a governor or the president for not more than 30 days unless renewed by the state legislature or Congress, and then for the duration of the crisis, during which time the conditional approval shall stay in effect. Pause. Okay, this is the New Jersey shit, mostly. No insurance, fuck you. No mental health evaluation, fuck you. You can write a mental health evaluation in such a way that everybody's mentally ill, and then all of a sudden you got a backdoor ban on anybody getting a concealed carry permit. Now what? The insurance mandates are just to price out certain classes of people, and I'm gonna just can go there. Blacks and Asians tend to be more in the poor region or unable to get insurance at very least. So no, fuck you again. That's it. There's nothing in here that says you cannot get liability insurance. If it were up to me, that would be illegal. Firearms liability insurance would be illegal. The clause saying are not obligated to issue, you know what? Let's say Nevada decides they do not want to issue permits to any of the other states' residents. Okay, fine. That's a decision that was made. But they do have to accept every other state. And by the way, it says state. It should really say state and territory. But whatever. And then there's the usual time constraint. 7 days conditional. You find out in the 7 days, oh yeah, this guy isn't actually eligible. You can go back and take the concealed carry permit and perhaps take the gun back. 30 days unconditional, you're on your own. You got to wait till he commits a crime with a gun. Fuck you. New Jersey and New York. All right, fuck you. You let that woman's concealed carry permit sit for 6 months, and then her husband did kill her, exactly like she said he would. So fuck you. And there's the usual clause to allow suspension of unconditional approval in the event of an unforeseeable emergency. All right. Any item covered under this act is protected in all other considerations and may be transported across state lines without further restriction in the control of the registered owner. It is actually illegal for me to cross state lines with my gun. I've never actually heard of anybody being prosecuted for that specifically, but it is against federal law. It won't be anymore. I'm actually very surprised those Patriot Front members were not charged under exactly that. Oh no. Okay, guys, I'm going to restart the chat. Pop out. Because they're... Pop out chat. Because I can hear myself in my ear, and that's very unpleasant. All right. Someday when I'm a professional, I'll have my shit together. No, not really. Wrong button. Share screen window. Okay. There we go. All right. So what did I miss? All right. No, they might have been able to question you, Swiss. I can't speak to specific circumstances. Staying silent might be considered lie of omission. The Supreme Court said no. When I was leaving, not armed press, talk to the police. Where's for another place and time? Okay, you're right. Reasonable articulation of suspicion. Or you're going to have to, yeah, I'm sorry. Reasonable suspicion and probable cause are two very different things. You do have to have reasonable suspicion to so much as ask somebody their name. The Supreme Court said that, not me. Biggest cause of injury to old men forgetting. Worse, Ozzy is there was no reason to think that this was an issue until it became an issue. Pulling me over without probable cause. It's not probable cause. There's much lower standards for a traffic stop. And it might have been a pretext stop. I got pretext stopped when I was riding my bike because I made a left turn on my bike from the left turn lane. It was a brazenly, obviously pretext stop. Pretext was cop actually wanted to check the bike out. He'd heard about me around town. He wanted to check the bike out. Dude, just come by. You know where I live. It's a very small town. You know where I live. Just come on by. But whatever. Ozzy, my condolences again. Allowed the weapons or transport it, nor to have it loaded, but at the range, only at home unloaded, separate from ammo. Yeah, Ozzy's talking about the Canadian version of what we call the DC law that was struck down a few years ago. Face gun charges. Justin Trudeau, was it 2 weeks ago, I think it was, came out and said, you do not have a right to defend yourself with a gun. Fuck you, Justin. What would you know? Seriously, what would you know? Only a human being would understand the concept of self-defense. So, what would you know? Love you, Susan. Okay. Ozzy, if you've taken safety course and are approved for a license for purchase, okay. So, New York law arrested people for having weapons in the state, even just turning around in the airport between flights. He's not even joking. John Stossel did an interview with somebody who was arrested at the airport for following federal law with her gun that violated New York state law. The two laws were actually directly conflictory. She gave up her gun in the moment. The state of New York kept the gun, destroyed it. This is one of the reasons why Daetslov is so fucking particular about even so much as the spelling of the word machine gun. Fuck you. There will not be any further state discretion. States have the authority to set reasonable concealed carry permit. That's it. That's all you get. And what that really is murder laws in California is where I grew up, so that's what I pick on the most. And Oregon, or the murder laws in those two states can be very different. California, you do not have fighting words law. There is no fighting words law. Oregon, there is. Fighting words law says if somebody calls you something that anybody else hearing this in court would think, yeah, I'd fucking knock his ass out too. Okay. You have a defense. It's not a defense for murder. It's not even a full defense for assault and battery. But it is a partial defense, and if it escalates from there, you pushed him. Well, okay, it's just a push. He turns around and tries to take your head off with his fist. Okay, It's now still on him. You pushed him. That's it. Okay, it's assault and battery. Is that a felony assault and battery? Nah, that's not a felony assault and battery. Well, that's a push. Get away from me. Away of me, Satan. Right? And then he turns around and hits you. And it keeps escalating. And all of a sudden, one of you's dead. The other's being arrested. In California, you're fucked. One way or the other, you're still fucked. This guy's dead. You killed him because he called you a name, even if it's amidst an escalation. Oregon, you might actually walk. Ozzy asked, did you use proper signals? Yeah, I did, actually. And let's just get past this, guys. I knew the real reason he stopped me. He wanted to see the bike. He'd heard about the bike. Everybody had heard about the bike. Literally the entire city. This is a very, very small town. Not where I live now. Had heard about the bike. They all were curious. Who is this guy? What is this bike? Because my bike is equipped with an electric motor. Oh, that was what was really making everybody. How does he keep cruising at 20 miles an hour on that bike without touching the pedals? He had his answer. I knew why he was really stopping me. I had been expecting this for a while. All right. I just didn't appreciate being stopped while I had milk in my saddlebags. It's a very distinctive bicycle, guys. I just answered the questions, and that's it. Just have or casework trial. Ozzy says they don't actually have to tell you why they are suspicious. Actually, they. You know what? I'll have to go back and look at that. Actually, Squatch is more of something you'd enjoy. What's the case law on reasonable suspicion versus a flagrantly pretext stop? Because if it's provably a flagrantly pretext stop, oh, you failed to signal, and now we found a ton of drugs. And the defendant says, I used my turn signal. Well, I guess they didn't work. Oh, yes, they did. Let's test the car. Okay, Ozzy says, just because open carry is legal, I assume he means as of right now, does not mean the cops won't like it or won't find some excuse to disarm and arrest you. Not under mandatory carry. If they can't see your gun, they might stop you and ask, where is your weapon? It's concealed, officer. It's right here. Okay, off you go. The reasonable suspicion. I didn't see his gun. Well, yeah, no, it's actually pretext. Okay. The moment that the cop sees your gun, he has no more reasonable suspicion. There's horrific cases of abuse in every state. There is a fairly recent one here in Nevada that somebody's going to prison, and it's not me. Okay. And yes, they always have to have a reasonable suspicion to stop. That didn't change just because New York has a stop and frisk law. There we go. I said it. Love you, Susan. Okay. I kind of got to sort of get to wrapping this one up because I got to get to the lake house. Get home bag. This is not actually a get home bag thing specifically. Money. Always have a little bit of reserve cash standing by. And I don't mean carry it in your bra, ladies, or carry it in your sock. Have a couple $20 bills, a broken $20 bill and a $20 bill in your desk or in your car underneath a floor mat or somewhere where you can get to it. True fucking story. Since my last live stream, my wallet disappeared. It disappeared for 3 days. I tore this building apart end to end. I tore the entire building apart end to end. I still could not figure out where the fuck I left it. Okay. Turns out it was in a crawl space for the electrical ducting. I had forgotten that I went up there to check on something for the contractor. And I don't know exactly what happened, but it fell out of my pocket up there. What saved my shit was I had a small amount of cash here. Small amount by Reno standards, by the way, folks. Okay. By Shasta County standards, that was a lot of money. But it was a good, it was $400. No, don't bother looking for it. And don't bother torturing me for it either. All right? Let's just say I know what accessing that money requires. And it would be difficult for me. Oh, hi, Rob. Okay. I did not see you walk in. Where was I? Getting to that money would be very difficult under the best of circumstances. Fortunately, I had the best of circumstances right that moment. That's what saved my shit. I didn't need my cards. I also did not have my driver's license, which meant I could have been in a lot of shit. I could have been going to jail, and I could have been held until they could positively identify me. That's a problem. Always have a little bit of cash on standby. You lose your wallet, you've lost your cards, you can't get access to your money, you still have a little bit. I carry a $20 bill around in my car, but don't bother asking where it is. I'm not going to tell you, but it's in a pretty good spot. And no, actually, Rob, Pappa Carry loves the lake house. He wants to retire there. He just can't yet. It's not ready. Ozzy's suggesting I get a chain for my wallet. That's not a bad idea. It wouldn't have fallen out of my pocket then. And cash is very helpful. I'll leave it at that. Oh, damn it. I was hoping that was a one-fingered salute. If you can, always drop a one-fingered salute as your way of announcing your entry into the chat, guys. Don't worry, I'm not offended. I'm not offended at all. Oh, I'm sorry, Ozzy. Yeah, by the way, a small amount is scaled to where you actually are, which right now is where I live. I don't need $400 in cash lying around at Pappa Carry's place. I really don't need that kind of cash lying around at the lake house. Um. Oh, damn. Excuse me, guys. Um. I really don't need that kind of cash. When I get to the lake house, I'm actually going to be leaving an amount appropriate to that area. Um, Also, yeah, no, don't bother looking for it. And do not hide it with your emergency key. That doesn't work. All right. I know exactly where it's going. And to find it, unless you knew where it was, you need to burn it to the ground. And that doesn't help. Thank you, Rob. I appreciate that. Uh, Especially, I'll let y'all in on the secret. The mem is two guys flipping somebody off. And the words are how veterans greet each other. Um, because I am the way I am, don't ever be afraid to insult me. Just avoid the kind of language I use about myself, kike, nigger, and faggot. Don't say that in the chat. That'll get you in trouble. Let me get in trouble for my own shit. Yes, Ozzy, you have alluded to those issues. Fortunately for you, I'm not an authority figure. I'm just some fucking jackass ranting on YouTube. Who cares? And guys, you can actually do the peace sign because of laziness. The peace sign renders as the two finger salute, which is actually an insult. It's how the British archers used to tell the French soldiers, I still got my fingers, because these two fingers were worth money to French soldiers. You took British archers' fingers. There was a bounty on this, equivalent to, I think it was a year's pay. Maybe Squatch. That's disputed. This is not disputed. Now, this is not the same thing. This, to me, is a vulgar. This is a vulgarity to me. So, British archers showing their two fingers to the French soldiers was a way of saying, fuck you. I still got my fingers. You're about to die. Don't insult me with some Swiss. That's not a way to insult me. Okay. And no, it was both fingers. Never know, and as Rob points out, I think keeping extra cash on hand is a must. You never know, and everyone takes cash. Here's a tip: have $20 in quarters. Vending machines always take quarters in the U.S. Yeah, Aussie or if I ever have somebody from Mexico, don't be afraid to correct me about what all vending machines take, but here in the United States, they always take quarters. And yes, if you have a roll of quarters and somebody sees it, they might steal it. Okay, that sucks. That really sucks. But vending machines always take quarters. And so will everybody else. You get $20 a quarters. $20 a quarters. And then you put it in a sock and use it to get home. But whatever. Yeah, okay. I want to make sure that there's nothing else I need to cover, although I will quickly review. Yes, Q&A is canceled for this week. It will resume on the regular rotation, not the 30th, but the 5th, I think it is. Mr. P, I'm sorry about the miscommunication. I trust we're still good. Patriot Front probably was not a full-on glow up, but I still have some serious questions about how did the feds know what was going on? You know, how did Idaho police know what was going on before it got there? And the video that did get out, which I think was a live stream, you can actually hear the cop in the background say something to the effect of, "You picked the wrong day to riot." How did you know this much about what they intended to do? How did you know that? How did you pick that particular van out of hundreds of thousands? All right. I'm just saying something else is going on there. Uvalde, yep, there was some serious fuck-ups, and I'm not going to be surprised if somebody goes to prison. And I mean a cop. I do mean a police officer goes to prison at this point. And never accept something if it even vaguely sounds like a conspiracy theory. Don't accept it just because somebody said it's true. All right. Sooner or later, I'm going to slightly be doxing myself and sending that a clip or the link of that timestamp to somebody else who's asking very interesting questions about a conspiracy theory, the train wreck specifically. All right. Have a small amount of cash, always available. How small is small varies based on where you live. Okay, and it is that simple. Here, $400 is considered a small amount. Actually, no. In Reno proper, $400 is a small amount. My little village, really, it's not even a city, it's a village. $400 is actually a respectable amount. Pappa Carry's place, $400 is a respectable amount. Lake House, it's out. You have how much? What are you? A prepper? Territory. Have a $20, have a roll of quarters. Vending machines always take quarters. And the paper or plastic that the roll is in helps keep it quiet. Just saying. Restrictions. The federal government can restrict certain items, but only so far. They can't tell you you can't have them. They can only track, basically they can only track it. That's it. If you can have a gun, you can have all the other things, but they can track those things. That's it. The states have the authority to set concealed carry permits. That's it. And that's really just to reflect that state laws vary and how far you can go equivalently varies. You know, calling me a kike nigger in Oregon, well, it's me, so it'd probably be not as big a deal. Calling a real human being uh, something like that, they're going to, bare minimum, you're going to get in your face, right? Rob's in the chat. I heard about what happened with men at Tupperware. You're right. He was wrong. Fuck that. Rob took a whole lot of offense to somebody using some language that I would not encourage unless you point it at me. Go ahead, I give a fuck. Call somebody something like that in Oregon, they're going to get in your face, and it can escalate up to and including somebody ends up dead. Same thing in California. Literally, let's say 10 miles away across the border, because you just happen to be within 5 miles of the border at the time, you're going to prison for the rest of your life. Okay. The states need the flexibility to be able to address state law differently, and self-defense and murder standards separately. That's all they get. And again, it's California, Oregon, Washington, Hawaii. I always forget Hawaii, New Jersey, and New York. Those are the reasons why these laws are the standard was written the way it was. Maybe if those states hadn't abused their authority, we wouldn't be here now at all. All right, I'm going to go over the chat. Check on new vending machines. Yeah, well, Ozzy points out bank cards with chips are needed on vending machines. Yeah, well, that's true, and they still take quarters. No ruling on Roe v. Wade yet. Well, I'm not going to rush that process. There have been declarations that they will kill Kavanaugh and the lady. Oh my God, I can't believe my mind blanked on her name. Fuck me. Your Honor, I did not mean to be so disrespectful as to forget your name. But yeah, there has been declarations of intentions to assassinate them. The last one was somebody who probably is mentally ill, but was with it enough to realize something's wrong and called the cops. And okay, put him someplace where he's safe. And yeah, cashless society is very, very dangerous. Ooh. Not sure what that Reno and Vegas was reference to. Swiss, have a good day at the office. San Francisco is not beautiful anymore. I don't know when you were there. I'm glad I don't live in New York. Rob has a very different opinion about how much money you need for New York, and I don't have that kind of money. Oh, okay. Well, I heard what was said. And I heard it from Ghost, not from some shit post. I heard it from Ghost. That's better than, it's one step below God coming down and saying it to my face. God is not going to come down out of heaven to tell me something. God's got more important things to do. All right. Damn it, I went a little over. Okay, guys. Have a little bit of cash as part of your emergency plan. Not everything is a conspiracy. Okay. Assume good faith, especially with somebody that you know at least a little bit. Have your get home bag ready because 9017 is coming. The fact that it didn't come in 2017, which is the 17, notwithstanding. And until next week, guys, keep calm and mandatory carry on. And let's see if I can end the broadcast this time.